TYT Sports talking boxing as always with our guy Robert Exel, the editor-in-chief of boxing.com. Robert, how are you today?
I'm great, Rick. How are you?
Doing well. We have three British fighters fighting on Saturday night. You could say that one is getting more attention than the other, at least in the States. That is Amir Khan against Danny Garcia. Now, Angel Garcia, Danny Garcia's father, has been incredibly vocal. Let me read you just a few of the quotes that I've taken from numerous articles, interviews, and even the press conference they had, I believe, July 1st. Here's what he said. Firstly, he thought Amir Khan on Danny Garcia is a pushover fight. At least that is he thinks that is Khan's mentality. Second, Danny's going to beat him down slowly. This is Danny's destiny. Khan just got a name. That's all he got. Never met a Pakistani who could fight. These are the controversial ones. And that Khan's God is a punishing God. My God is a loving God. And basically his chin is weak. When you don't have a chin in boxing, it's an issue. How can you be a warrior when you don't have a chin? If Danny clips him, I don't think he will be able to survive that shot. And then Danny Garcia at the press conference even got into it, saying, you can't punch, you can't punch. What do you make of all this?
Not a great deal. I mean, all I can conclude is that some things are better left unsaid. Angel Garcia is doing what it is that he needs to do in order to build up the fight, and build up his son, the fighter. But the truth of the matter is, Angel Garcia is not to be taken seriously. He can say what he wants to say, but reality is going to impose itself in the form of Amir Khan Saturday night.
But why shouldn't he be taken seriously? Out of anybody, I understand that he's trying to build the fight up, but out of anything, what he's doing right now is sucking me more into the fight than I already was, and is definitely making it more entertaining.
Well, that it is, and I think that's really his purpose. But the truth of the matter, one needs only to sort of look at the records of the two fighters, look at the competition that the two fighters have faced, and then sort of reach some conclusions insofar as what Angel Garcia has said. Obviously, Khan has fought the better competition. I mean, there's no question that Danny Garcia has a title. He defeated Erik Morales, who is obviously one of the great fighters of our era. But it was a very much reduced Erik Morales. He's in there with a young, tough fighter. Khan is a good fighter. There's no question about it. And I think Garcia may be in over his head.
Amir Khan, 25 years old. Danny Garcia, 24 years old. So you could even say both of them are very young. It appears to be that Amir Khan is entering the prime of his career. Angel Garcia was also quoted as saying that Khan is overrated over and over and over again. So let me just read you a few of the notable fights. Marco Antonio Barrera, a win in 5 rounds. Paulie Malignaggi, a TKO in 11 rounds. Marcos Maidana, he won in 12 rounds, although Maidana definitely stole a few of the late rounds. Zab Judah, knockout in 5, and then of course Lamont Peterson, the loss last December. And now per USA Today, by the way, this is what just came in. Khan was reinstated as the WBA junior welterweight champion, he has given back his title after a split decision loss to Lamont Peterson. Obviously, Lamont Peterson failed that doping test. But what does that say about Amir Khan, him losing that fight? You know, he takes a lot to heart. He wears his heart on his sleeve when he fights and when he talks. What do you think this fight could mean to him in sort of overcoming that Lamont Peterson fight?
Well, he doesn't really feel as though he lost the Lamont Peterson fight fair and square. He said many times that Peterson was doping, therefore he really didn't lose the fight against a fair fighter. We don't know the circumstances of the Peterson fight. We know that he was taking testosterone pellets under a doctor's supervision, but doping is doping. Whether it was cheating or not remains to be seen, but it certainly was doping of a sort. So Khan doesn't really feel as though he lost that fight fair and square to Peterson. So Khan is coming back to really continue his march through the division, and the only person standing in right now is Danny Garcia.
By the way, Lamont Peterson has delayed a hearing before the Nevada State Athletic Commission 3 times now. So just to throw that out there, that is factual. But let me get to my point previously that I, for some reason, did not get around to. Do you think that Angel Garcia is right on either the fact that Amir Khan is overrated or that he has a weak chin? Start with overrated first. Do you think Amir Khan is just that?
No, I don't think Amir Khan is overrated. I think Amir Khan is a great fighter. He's not the greatest fighter in history. He's not Sugar Ray Robinson, but he's a really good fighter. He's one of the best fighters out there today. Overrated? You read his competition. You read the fighters that he's fought and the results of those fights. I mean, that is not an indication of a fighter who's overrated to me.
What about his chin, Robert? Is his chin suspect? He took some good shots against Maidana, but I mean, is his chin suspect?
Well, has he been KO'd? I mean, take a look at his record once again. I mean, the numbers speak louder than words. His record speaks for itself. Hit any person the right way, they can go down. But again, Khan is a resilient fighter. He's a tough fighter. He's a tough guy. And again, I think Angel Garcia deserves to be taken less seriously, frankly, than Amir Khan.
Danny Garcia, as you said, he beat up Erik Morales, who is will always be considered a true champion, but may have been over the hump just a little bit, you could say, in the last fight. His last three, however, obviously beating Erik Morales in 12 rounds, beat Kendall Holt a split decision in 12 rounds, and he beat Nate Campbell, a unanimous decision in 10 rounds. By the way, all those fights were in the span of 15 months. I really like this guy. I think he has a ton of potential. He's very skilled. What else does he bring to the table?
Well, he brings a lot of courage, brings a lot of guts. I mean, the fact that he sort of stepped in last minute, in a sense, to in for Peterson, I mean, says a lot about Garcia and a lot about his heart, a lot about his belief in himself. He is a good fighter, and there's no question about it. But again, I mean, he's in there really with one of the best fighters in the game today. So it remains to be seen how he does. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be a competitive fight. I'm really looking forward to it, frankly.
I'm also looking forward to it, too. I think these are two very, very good fighters. I would give Khan the slight edge. But let's go through a few of these scenarios back and forth, or at least a few of the some analysis back and forth. Speed-wise, would you say that Danny Garcia has the edge in that category?
I would not. I would say Khan has the edge. Khan is fast.
What about power?
Power? I would probably maybe equal power, actually. I don't know that one fighter has the advantage over the other.
I'm sorry,
but I think Khan throws more, so he will be busier.
I'm sorry, I misheard you. Did you say Danny Garcia or did you say Amir Khan?
Amir Khan will be busier. He'll be the busier of the two fighters.
What about chin? Who has the better one?
Well, remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. I don't know that Garcia's really gotten nailed yet. We'll see what kind of chin he has. I mean, he seems like a pretty resilient fighter to me. But we'll see what happens when Khan starts landing on him. What happens?
All right, Robert. You've seen a lot of very good fighters. You've seen a lot of great fights. How would you say, or at least what is the strategy and the game plan to beat up on Amir Khan? I've heard Angel Garcia say, we back him up in the corner and we beat the shit out of him. Now, who knows if that's really going to happen, and who knows if he's just saying that to the media just to say it and grab headlines. But what is the game plan against Amir Khan? Does he have any flaws?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's exactly what he has to, Garcia has to take a page from Lamont Peterson's playbook. That's what Peterson did. I mean, basically back him up. I mean, don't give room to move, don't give him room to breathe, and keep firing punches. That's what he has to do. Now, whether or not Danny Garcia can do that, as Lamont Peterson did that, we don't really know yet. I mean, we're going to have to see. He's certainly young enough. He's certainly confident enough. But we're hoping that Amir Khan learns something from the Peterson fight. Basically, that he needs to move. He needs to use the ring. He cannot allow the other fighter to dictate the pace. At
least one that I was going to say that you mentioned was basically fighting on the inside. I don't know if Danny Garcia can do it, but Amir Khan was eating overhand left, overhand left, overhand left on the inside when he did fight Lamont Peterson. So there could be one thing. Again, the fight is Saturday on HBO, 11 p.m. Eastern Time at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, Nevada. Robert Exel, who do you think is going to win this fight? Obviously, we think it'll be competitive. Do you think there will be a knockout? Who do you got?
Well, I'm leaning toward Khan. I can imagine Khan by decision. I don't think he's going to knock out Garcia, but I think Khan is going to pocket enough rounds, and I think he's going to walk away with the victory. Decision, I assume? Yes.
Would it be crazy of me to possibly pick Danny Garcia to win a decision in 12 rounds? Would that be crazy?
No, it wouldn't be crazy. I mean, he's a good fighter. It's a competitive fight. I mean, both of these guys are fairly equally matched, and not crazy in the least.
A lot of people are probably going to throw their arms up and like, oh my God, I can't believe Rick probably did. But look, here's my analysis on it. I think Danny Garcia is the younger fighter. He's the fresher fighter. A lot has been going on with Amir Khan outside the ring. Alex Ariza with Freddie Roach. They clash what seems like every hour of the day. And with the whole Lamont Peterson thing, I feel like it's still, he still sees it in his rear view. And as we have seen, late opponents coming in to face fighters, you could even say Jose Cito Lopez against Victor Ortiz. The guy that they overlook and try to get that next fight with, they shouldn't overlook the guy of the now. And I think Danny Garcia is the guy of the now. It's probably an incredibly irrational pick, but I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with Danny Garcia to win a decision. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. Robert Exel, the editor-in-chief of Boxing.com, thank you so much for the time. You can follow him on Twitter at boxing_com and follow his great writing at www.boxing.com. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome, Rick.